Everything was great until I turned 11. That's when Mum married him. My mum chose him over me and my siblings. Over all of us. 7 kids in total. She decided to keep the 2 youngest children. She knew they would call him Dad. She knew us older ones wouldn't. I was forced to leave home. The family home. My family's home. From there, I drifted around from place to place, short stays with extended family or with friends. I had nowhere to call home. My mum was forced to take me back home at her new place in Glasgow, even though social workers knew I wouldn't receive stability there. Living there, I felt unwanted and unloved. I ended up homeless in Glasgow at the age of 15. I was given temporary homeless accommodation there. The area was filled with drug users, people drinking and fighting right outside my window. I didn't feel safe there with constant visits and threats from the people I socialised with. These people were bad news, and not the people you want to get on the wrong side of. I couldn't stay in that flat, and because of that, I was then passed from hostel to hostel in some of the worst locations in Glasgow to keep me safe, held by the police and my teachers. This is the kind of room I was given. Floor still wet, freezing cold, heater not working, neither the hot water. All I had was a single bed, no pillow, a wooden chair and a wooden chest of drawers. I always stood at the window, crying, wishing for a better life. Looking out the window, I'd see people arguing and fighting over drugs and money. I lived from packet food, like biscuits and crisps, as I had no kettle or microwave. I had to go to the office to use the kettle for a pot noodle. I was only there for 3 days, but it felt like a lifetime. Despite all of this, I still managed to stay engaged in school, as I wanted to get away from the hostel accommodation. At the same time, I was trying to sort out my younger siblings who were still living at home with Mum and her abusive new husband. I kept trying to tell my mum what he was doing to them and how it was all affecting us, but she wouldn't listen. And she tried her hardest to keep the kids away from me. So she decided to move back to Dundee. A week later, I contacted my support worker from Explore and got help and support over the phone about how to get back to Dundee. I then called my dad and he came through the same day to collect me and a van load of my stuff. I had to leave behind what couldn't fit in the van. Once I arrived in Dundee, I visited Action for Children because I knew they helped young homeless people. I knew of the service because when I was younger, I took part in workshops that Action for Children had organised, so I knew they'd help me. Action for Children directed me to Homeless Services, who offered me temporary accommodation in the Lily Walker Centre. The staff were great and always helped me, but they knew it wasn't a good place for a young girl. Drug users would batter on my door at midnight, hassling me for drugs. Some residents would write me love letters and invite me to their room, which was really worrying. I didn't know what they were capable of if I got on their bad side. Despite that, my experience in this place was a lot better than my experience in Glasgow. The room was better equipped and it felt more welcoming, although it's not a place you want to be at such a young age, or any age for that matter. During this time, I managed to secure a work placement in a nursery. I looked forward to this as it was getting me out of the hostel and away from the people associated with it. This made me feel like I had control over something. I was there for 6 weeks until there was a room in the Action for Children accommodation. When I moved into the Action for Children accommodation, I was given opportunities that I'd never had before, like going on my first holiday. I had a new feeling of safety and stability that I hadn't had in years. I stayed in Action for Children for a year until I got my own tenancy. Action for Children helped me get into contact with specific organisations that helped me gain contact with my siblings. They helped me build relationships with my mum and siblings again. And my mum came to visit me in my own flat without her husband. After a few months of speaking with my mum, she found someone new, split up with her ex-abusive husband, and this is when things started looking up. I can now go to my mum's house and feel welcome. I can also live my life in peace knowing that my younger siblings are safe. I've been in my own place for a year now. However, it's not in the best location, and being young and staying on your own can be scary. Earlier this year I bought a dog. He keeps me company and makes me feel safe. Having him around helps me with my anxiety.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
Looking back, I probably wouldn't have hung about with those people in Glasgow or in Dundee. At the end of the day, I couldn't trust them. They weren't my friends. They blamed me when they'd done something wrong and steal from me and all turn against me for no reason.
Out of everything, what would you say helped get you through?
Knowing that if I picked up the phone, Action for Children would have been there to help me. If I hadn't known about them, I don't even know where I'd be now.